This yeah, it's all this week. No way. You know what? It says for I know they have that like. Well, I mean, yeah, they have a lot more stuff. Like when it comes to organic or whatever. I would assume they were about the same. I'm pretty sure my mom was.
Okay, if you guys can turn to page 21.
We also have some, you know how the they started
Okay, so we were able to do solving systems of equations with a 2x2 matrix using the elimination method. When there's only two variables, right? We lined up the x's and y's. We multiplied through so that we can get either the x's or y's to match and the opposite sign, so that when we added the columns, only one variable remained, and then we solved for that variable and then plugged in to find the other variable. We're also able to do it through a calculator. But today, I wanted to show the algebra method, elimination method. It's going to take a lot longer than the calculator, but we just want to be able to review our algebra skills there. And then after that, plugging the calculator will be pretty quick. So we just have to get practice with that. Okay, so page 21. The reason why solving systems of equations is a little bit longer is that with these, there are three variables. Okay, because there's three variables, we're going to have to go through setting up systems of equations multiple times to kind of get rid of one variable at a time. So okay, so that means that we're going to have to find pairings of two variables at a time. Okay, and I'm going to target the first and third just because I see that maybe I can just get the x's to pair up. So I'm just going to write the first and third equation next to, above each other. Again, guys, page 21. All right, if I want to get the x's to go away, I can multiply the second term by 4. Okay, distribute the 4 through. And then 4 times 16 gives us negative 64. All right, let's see what we have by adding up each of the columns here. We know the x's goes away, just like what we planned for that to happen. And then just add up the columns, remaining columns. Okay, so we have y and z remaining. So now we want to find another combination of equations that will also allow us to get rid of the x's. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yes, minus 20. My bad. Negative 16y. Sorry, minus 10y. Negative 10y minus 20z. So we did the first and third equation, right? We also want to produce another equation that have y and z. So it doesn't matter which one we pick. We just want to pick the same ones again. So, I mean, we could pick the first and second one, but then the 6 and 4 will require us to have to multiply both, change both of them, right? So I'm going to target this negative 6 and the second and third one. It's faster and quicker to get these two to line up. So okay, so I'm going to target the second and third equation because it looks like it's easier to get the x's to go away faster. And then I'm just going to multiply the second equation by 6. Okay, now we can add. Just like what we wanted, we want the x's to go away. So we're at a good spot because now we have two remaining equations where we can try to find to get one of the two variables to go away, right? So now we're now down to two variables, and now this is something similar to what we've seen in the past, where we're just trying to solve a system of equations with two variables. So I'm going to line these two up and see what we can do to get either the y's or z's to cancel out. So maybe I think it's easier to maybe target the y's. These numbers seem a little bit smaller here. So I'm just going to copy them down above each other here. Okay, so it's not hard, right? It's just kind of time consuming because we have to, it's like doing 3 problems in one. Okay, so now we have to figure out what is a number that both 16 and 10 can go into. Okay, what about 80, right? If we can, 16 times 5 is 80. So I can multiply one of them by a positive and the other with a negative, so I can get those signs to be opposites. Okay, so I'll multiply the top one by negative 8 and the bottom one by 5. Okay, I want to get the y's to pair up or to match or be opposites here. Okay, 5 times negative 16 is negative 80. 5 times 38. Five times 126. Okay, so once we get one variable down, then the other two will be easier to solve. But just trying to get to that one variable. Looks like I'm going to target the z's here because the y's can go away. Divide both sides by -30, so z equals 5. Okay, so once I have one of the variables, I'm going to target one of the other two equations. I don't want to go back to the original because if I do, I'll be left with too many variables here. So either I can plug it into one of the middle equations, right? If I have z, I can solve for y, so either one works. Maybe I'll target the -10y here because these numbers look a little bit easier to plug in. So one of my middle equations will help me get to y. -10 minus 100 equals -60. Add 100 to both sides. -10y equals 40. Divide both sides by -10. Okay, so now that I have two variables solved, I can go back to one of my original equations and find my last variable. So it doesn't matter which one I plug into, but I'm going to pick the one that I think is the easiest. I'll choose the third one, but it doesn't really matter. Any of these could work. So our ordered, this is not an ordered pair here. This is going to be an ordered triple because we have three variables here. Ordered triple is going to be 2, -4, 5. Okay, any questions here? Okay, number 2, I also want us to do this with elimination method, but let me save this for classwork. I want to show you the calculator steps, which will be quick and easy, but it does take practice to at least know, entering it in and calling the inverse feature. So let's go to page 22 and let's look at number 3. Any questions so far? Okay, so let's go to page 22. Okay, we're going to solve each system as a matrix equation. But first, we're going to set it up. Okay. But we do need to do some algebra, or we do need to do some rearranging because before we plug into the calculator, we need to make sure that all the x, y's, and z's are lined up. Okay, we can't quite just put everything in. We need everything lined up. So let's do this. Let's have the x, y's, and z's on one side of the equation in that order, and then the other side being the constant. So I'm going to rewrite these equations here. The first one is good to go. I'm just going to copy that over here. The second one is, for the most part, pretty good, but I do want to have a placeholder for the x. So I can just call this, have it called be 0x, right? Can I do that? Yeah, so 0x plus 6y minus 5z equals -6. Okay. And the third one here, I want that 3x over to the left, so I can add that 3x to the left side. So I'll make this 3x. I want the 2y on the left side as well, so minus 2y plus 6z. The 6z is already on the left side, and the 5 is going to move over, so a -5. So just make sure that everything is lined up. If you don't see a variable, give it a 0 for that variable, right? If you don't see an x, give it a placeholder. So when you plug in the calculator, you'll be able to have that matrix element for that x. Okay, are we good so far? Okay, so this is really the only math you have to do, is just rearranging, and after that, the calculator can do all the rest for you. Okay, but we do need to set it up using matrix equation. So I'm going to create a 3x3 matrix for all the coefficients. And then I'll create a variable matrix, and then a constant matrix on the other side. Okay. All right. So now, in order to get my variable matrix by itself, I have to move this 3x3 matrix to the other side. And when I move it, it turns into a what? Inverse. And it comes first. Okay. Make sure that any matrix you move to the other side is going to end up being the first matrix on the other side. And after this, we should be ready for our calculator to do the heavy lifting for us. Make sure you put a -1 notation here to indicate that you're going to be calling the inverse of that matrix. Okay, so I'm going to show the calculator work side by side with both the 36 Pro and the. Okay, but I'm going to give you guys a chance. Does everyone have that written down? Okay, so why don't we have this be matrix A and let this segment be matrix B? Okay. So in your calculator, you can go to your matrix screen. So do second, here matrix is under mass, second matrix, and then here it's under second x to -1. Okay, they both pull up a similar menu. Go to edit. Let's do edit on matrix A. If it's not showing a 3x3, it's okay. You can hit enter and then change the dimension when you get to the next screen. Oops. Okay, just make sure you do this because it's easy to make a mistake. Go back and look at your matrix again. Make sure that you typed in your numbers correct. I mean, you're doing so many numbers, it's understandable that you may have misread it or you typed in a positive instead of a negative. Okay, so double check your numbers. Okay. All right. Go back to your matrix screen again. So matrix menu, go to second. And now we're going to edit matrix B. Okay. Now the second matrix is going to be a 3 by 1, 3 rows, 1 column. Negative 13, negative 6, negative 5. Okay. Now, everybody good? Now go back to your home screen. So do second mode. Now you're going to call your inverse of matrix A multiplied by matrix B. So go to your matrix screen. Under names, call matrix A. And now you want to make this the inverse. Okay, on the graphing calculator, there's a direct button that you can enter there, x to -1, that will make it the inverse. But on the 36 Pro, you're going to have to go back to your matrix screen and then do math and then inverse. Do you see that? Math inverse, that will pull up that inverse notation. Now call matrix B, so go to matrix name B, call matrix B, call matrix B here. Hit enter. And those are your X, Y, and Z values. -11, 4, and 6. Sometimes you may get an error. If you get an error, either you plugged it in wrong or there's no solution. Okay. So just double check everything. If it's possible that it's a no solution, that's a possibility. That means that the equations are never going to meet at a single point. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, any questions? Yeah. Yeah, I'll come around and help you individually if you have questions, but I think for the most part, many of you are comfortable to kind of move forward. So sorry for all the blank pages that I didn't end up seeing when I was bringing this out. Okay, so this will be a short class. I just want us to do a few problems here. So let me write out your assignment here. Okay, so on page 21, you're going to do number 2. Number 2, you're going to use elimination method. Okay. And then next, on page 26, I'll have you guys do 3, 4, and 5. And that you can just use your calculator matrix equations. Uh-huh. Yes, thank you. Okay, so only one problem will take a little bit longer, but once you get to 3, 4, and 5, you're just going to do what we did with the second problem, right? Line everything up. Our class sets the whole thing very well, so we don't have everything. Okay, I'll put the answers up on the board as I get to them. But for number 2, you're using elimination method, but you can also use your calculator to double check your work, right? So. All right, go ahead and try that. I have some students who are going to do the map testing, so I'll put that on the board. And I'll be sure to walk around and help you guys out if you are still uncertain about the calculator steps. Go back to your thank you screen for the map. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I didn't mean to turn that on. Okay, we should be in call. I believe so. I haven't worked with that yet. I haven't worked that down. Okay, I'll double check and let you know. I'll put an answer in. And what about get -6, -3. 92. Good. Good. Cool. Okay. You're done.
So this would be, and it'd be -1.
Yeah, hit enter. Yeah, good.
This is right, like,
Mhm,
let us go up
mhm.
and down.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, first is X and Y, then Z. Yeah. I'm doing number 2 in case you want to watch me go through the steps. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry? Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, any variable you want. I just decided to target the y's first, but any variable is fine.
Second row, isn't it supposed to be 3x plus y plus 4 equals negative?
Yes, that's okay. Sorry. I was looking at the wrong column. I was wondering why I couldn't get my numbers to work out. Thank you. This one should be -3. This one's okay. All right, so I decided to target the y's first, get the y's to all go away. So I'm just left with x's and z's. And then once I'm down to x's and z's, able to get it down to -2. And now I'm going to rely on my intermediate equations to help me find my second variable. I'm going to try to get to x first, because that's what I can do. Either one's fine. I'll choose this one. These numbers look smaller. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm just going to, now I have x and z. I can use any of the original equations to help me get to my last variable, y. this down here. You guys get negative 678 for 3. Okay, let me know if you have any questions with your calculator. I want you guys to feel comfortable entering the calculator. You can pull in determinant or inverse or multiplication. Yeah, the only thing you have to worry about algebraically and numerically before the calculator is to rearrange the equations, right? Sometimes you may have to add some terms together, add like terms, but you want the x, y's, and z all lined up. If you're missing a variable, just put a 0 for that variable. If you don't see a y, then put a 0y, so everything is lined up so the calculator knows what's your y value, even if it's a 0.
Oh, so
Only do like and what you hear. Hey guys, if you're done, I'll come around and just check your page 21 and page 26. Okay. Do you have a graphing calculator? Okay. Which one?
It's like
What's it,
coming,
92?
so it's gonna be here tomorrow.
Which one?
I think it's not like that, it's just like on my head.
Which one? Okay.
I had that, but because you had to fix, I just didn't think about it today.
Yeah, I remember.
Dude, I can show you.
I didn't remember my air question once I was there. My phone died.
That just means
Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Netflix. I'm like a little, I put on a little on and watch Netflix.
Have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow.